Did you panic sell when the price dropped out of Bitcoin this week? Welcome back to the weekly crypto review and the roller coaster ride that is crypto investing. Let's take a look at our charts. First of all, of course, if you find what I'm saying valuable, please subscribe, like, and share this video. If you'd like, you can always send a little crypto my way through any of these addresses. They're in the description. And also, if you look at the description, you'll find a link for the Brave browser. If you download it and you use it regularly for 30 days, I get $5 in BAT. Works for me, works for you. So let's look at the charts. As normal, we're looking at the weekly charts. And I'm going to keep an eye on the time this week, try and keep this a short video. There isn't a whole lot to talk about. I do want to point out, we're looking at the weekly Bitcoin chart. We're at the end of the week. This is Friday. And where last week we had what's called an engulfing pattern. We had this big red candle where the real body, the open and close, engulfed the open and close of the week before. That is a bearish signal. That tends to indicate that the price is going to go down. Well, this week it did go down. It dropped significantly. Our low this week was at 64.30. 64.30 even, in fact. Okay. But since then, we have recovered most of that, and we're looking at a doji. We're looking at a really interesting doji. Our open is at 71.11 and our close is at 71.54. So we have roughly $40 between our open and close. And this is on a cryptocurrency where in a day we can see $1,000 or more in price difference. And our difference in a week is only $40. That's a strong indication that the drop, the selling has slackened and the pressure to sell has lessened. The doji itself is a indication that we're going to see a reversal in trend. The problem I see there's a couple of problems I see. While we have, if we look, I'm going to look at some of these other indicators that I've got up here that I never talk about. First of all, let's look at volume. If you look at the volume, we've got more volume this week, and it's green, it's positive volume. We've got more volume this week than we did last week, which is a good sign. It's still not a lot of volume. Way back here when we first started to tip over, volume was at almost 300K, and yesterday or this week, volume has been at 64K. So a sixth of the volume that we saw back in June. There's not a whole lot of trading going on. It has nearly stopped. I can't say it's stopped, but people aren't buying and selling Bitcoin like they were back in June, which is not surprising considering the price is going down. We have been in a downward trend since since July 1st? Yeah, the week of July 1st. I mean, we hit the top the week before, but really, the week of July 1st, open and close, that's where the peak was. And we have been going sideways for the most part, but slightly down. If you look at this, we're at the end of December, and this is July 1st. So literally, over the last 6 months, we've slightly down, but mostly sideways. That is a very long term. That is an incredibly bullish indicator. It's saying that even after 6 months of lackluster performance, the price of Bitcoin really hasn't dropped all that much. I mean, if aside from the big weeks where it hit the peak and then dropped, there's a lot of price action there. But over the last 6 months, there really hasn't been that much price action. So we've got this doji this week, and we're coming up at the end of the week. So I suspect it will remain a doji, or at best a spinning top. But those are, spinning top is an indicator that the market is unsure. It doesn't know whether it wants to go up or go down. A doji basically is that on steroids. I don't know whether I want to go up or whether I want to go down. And typically, when you see a doji, in a downward trend, which is what we have, it is the market saying, we've gone down enough, I'm not sure I want to go down any farther. So it's in this case, it's a very positive indicator. Of course, if it were an upward market, if we'd seen the doji over here while the things were going up, it would have been an indicator that, I don't know that I want to go any farther up, we're going to drop. And that's exactly what we saw back here on the last week of June, is that we saw this doji here with this massive upper shadow where it said, yeah, I'm going to go up to the top, but I'm not going to stay there. Well, we had a doji down near the bottom. Now we got a doji near the top. The upper shadow is much shorter than the lower shadow. That's an indication that the price wants to turn around, that the market is ready for a turnaround. The problem I see, like I said, we've got more volume, but it's not a lot. Our MACD looks good. If we look at the numbers, we've got this bar graph here. Is a negative 348.5, which is less than the negative 370.48 of last week. But again, nothing to write. There's nothing spectacular here. There isn't a huge change from this week to this week, like there is back here where you see the drop coming down, or here where it's heading back up. We don't see a huge difference in this. The lines have converged. They've spread apart. These are moving averages. So it's lackluster. It's not telling us a whole lot as far as a reversal. But really what I want to look at is this RSI. So RSI, Relative Strength Indicator. RSI is a really good indication of when a market is overbought or oversold. Okay? And I want to point out something. So back here where we had this doji that indicated the top, where we hit the high price and then dropped back down, if we're on that week, if I can pull my cursor straight down, we were oversold in that week. This line is well over the purple band. The purple band runs from 20 to 70 on a scale of 100. Okay? It's a relative scale, relative strength, relative scale. So we're looking from 0 to 100. Anything between 30 and 70 is not overbought, not oversold. If it's below 30, it's oversold, and if it's above 70, it's overbought. Well, we have for several weeks here. Actually, as far back as the 6th of May, you see that it goes up. It peaks over here at May 27th, and then drops down the next week, and then it peaks back up. And you'll notice that this drop down was the one red week we had during this bull run, and then jumps right back up. Okay, so right here at the top where we peaked out, we have a slight dip, but it's well above 70. In fact, it's at 77.27. Okay? We have not seen it drop down to a oversold condition since way back here. This is the last time it was oversold at 29.07. So it's below 30, barely, just slightly, less than a point below 30, but it is below 30. And what do we have? Well, if we look at the price action, that's the week that we bottomed. That's the week that we hit the bottom. Okay? So a really good indication that things are about to change is that we hit this bottom and we have an RSI below 30. Right now, if we look at what we've got this week, we're looking at a 42.13. So it is on the low side, but still near the middle. It's not oversold yet. It is certainly possible that we won't ever get to an oversold condition on the weekly. That's certainly possible, especially since this is not a major bear market. But even so, if we were down near closer to 30 or below 30, I would feel a lot better about this turnaround. As things stand, it's possible next week will be an up week, but I don't think we're done with this downward trend. I think we're going to go lower. We have gone as low as, 6,400? It's quite possible we hit 6,000 before this thing ends. And if it does, if we do hit that price, okay, I don't care. I really don't care. I know long term that Bitcoin is going to be worth at least $100,000. Before this bull run is done, we're going to see prices of up above $100,000. So if it drops to 6,000 or 5,000, 4,000 is going to be painful for me because that's going to be below where I bought in. But I have faith in Bitcoin. I have faith in the market. I have faith in the code. I have faith in the fact that people are always looking for a way to make money. And the lower this price goes, the more attractive Bitcoin is going to become. Okay? That means that as it becomes more attractive, more people are going to start looking at buying it instead of selling it. Okay? When you remember, the market is an emotional place. You should not trade using emotion. You should remove all emotion. Again, never financial advice. But everyone will tell you that if you're going to invest, if you're going to trade, you should do so without emotion. You want to make an emotionless decision based on the data. But the market is full of emotion. Right now, people are panicking. People are scared. Well, the old saying, when people are scared, it's time to buy. This is a truism that has been around the markets for centuries. When there's blood in the streets, when people are panicking. Did you hear the screams this week as the price dropped below $7,000? I certainly did. Well, expect more of that in the coming weeks. I don't honestly think it's going to get much below 6,000. I think 6,000 is going to be the bottom, very close to the bottom of what we see. I think at $6,000, people are going to see Bitcoin as an extreme value, a discounted price. I think if we hit it, it's going to be like the last couple times. We have kind of a double bottom here at around 6,400 with the week of the 25th of November and this week. So it's kind of a double bottom. They're not exact, but they're close. And it's right around $6,300, $6,400. $6,400 is currently support. And our price has not dropped below that. So hopefully what we'll see, if we see it drop down, we hopefully won't see it drop down below 6,400. 6,000 at the most, I think. But I think we're about ready. The market is about ready to turn around. With the patterns I'm seeing, nothing is really showing any real strength. It's a very lackluster, very, very nonchalant, very I don't care kind of signals that I'm seeing here. In that the market there's not a whole lot of emotion in the weekly candles. It's a I don't care. It's a yeah, whatever. And so it is. I don't see any enthusiasm to go up or down. Well, that usually is what indicates that the market is about to turn around. I don't think it's going to do it this next week. I think it's going to drop down a little further. But certainly, let's see, we've got one more. Well, next week is the end of the year. Come January, that's the other thing. January, the beginning of a year. As arbitrary as the beginning of the year actually is. I mean, the beginning of the year back in the ancient Roman times, the beginning of the year was it was in the spring, where we call April. That was the start of the year. So where the year ends and starts is arbitrary, but because it is that new year, that's going to affect people. That's going to have people looking at, it's a new year, it's time to try something new, New Year's resolutions, and I fully expect that with the new year, we're going to see the price of Bitcoin turn around and start to go up again. I don't think it's going to go up fast. I don't think we're going to see another one of these. Not this steep. I think it's going to go up about like it has gone down. I think we're going to see a mirror image of the last 6 months, but inverted. It's going to be going up instead of down. That's what I think we're going to see. Anyway, this has already been 15 minutes, so video's gone far too long, much longer than I wanted to. Have patience. If you believe that Bitcoin is going to be worth $100,000 by the end of this bull run, don't panic over the price. I think we're near the bottom of this downward trend. I think it's going to turn around here in the next couple of weeks, certainly after the first of the year. Anyway, that's what I've got this week. I will see you all next week.